I want to ask a simple question. Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, when did I stop feeling like myself? Not because something dramatic happened overnight. Not because somewhere along the way you slowly stopped recognizing the person looking back at you. Maybe life became overwhelming. Maybe disappointment changed you. Maybe anxiety got louder than your confidence. Or maybe you spent so much time trying to be someone who everyone else needed you to be that you forgot who you needed to be for yourself. If you've ever felt that way, I want you to know something. You're not alone. At some point in life, almost everyone feels mentally lost. The problem is that when we feel lost, we immediately assume something's wrong with us. But what if feeling lost isn't always a sign that you're broken? What if it's a sign that you've outgrown the version of yourself you've been holding on to? Think about that. When you're driving somewhere unfamiliar, getting lost doesn't mean the destination no longer exists. It simply means you need a new direction. Life works the same way. Sometimes we confuse being lost with being finished. But they're not the same thing. Being lost means you're searching. And people who stop searching are the ones who truly stay stuck. One of the biggest reasons we lose ourselves is because we slowly begin living for everyone else's expectations. We ask ourselves, what do they think? What do they want? What will make them happy? After enough time, we stop asking the most important question of all. What do I need? We become so busy meeting expectations that we neglect our own identity. We wear masks to fit in. We hide parts of ourselves to avoid judgment. We pretend we're okay because we don't want to burden anyone. And little by little, we drift farther away from ourselves. The scary part is that it doesn't happen all at once. It happens quietly, one compromise at a time, one ignored emotion at a time, one unspoken truth at a time, until one day you wake up and realize, I don't even know who I am anymore. But here's what I've learned. You don't find yourself by looking harder. You find yourself by listening more closely. Because beneath all the noise, the opinions, the fear, the comparison, the pressure, there's still a voice inside you. Sometimes it's quiet, but it's still there. It's the voice that reminds you what matters. It's the voice that tells you when something doesn't feel right. It's the voice that knows what brings you peace. The challenge is that the world is very loud. Socials tell you what you should be, who you should be. Comparison tells you you're behind. Fear tells you to play it safe. And past mistakes tell you you'll never change. But eventually those voices become so loud that you can no longer hear your own. So maybe finding yourself isn't about becoming someone new. Maybe it's about removing everything that was never you in the first place. You remove the pressure, you remove the labels, you remove the expectations, you remove the belief that your worth depends on your performance. Because your identity isn't found in your job. It's not found in your relationship. It's not found in how much money you make. It's not even found in your biggest success or your worst failure. Those things describe parts of your life. They don't define your life. Now let me ask you something. When was the last time you sat in silence without trying to distract yourself? No phone, no TV, no music, nothing. Just you and your thoughts. For a lot of people, that's uncomfortable. because silence has a way of revealing what we've been avoiding. But silence also has a way of helping us reconnect with ourselves. Sometimes the answers you're searching for don't come from doing more. They come from slowing down enough to hear yourself again. Healing isn't always loud. Growth isn't always obvious. Sometimes growth looks like resting. Sometimes it looks like saying no. Sometimes it looks like asking for help. Sometimes it looks like admitting, I'm not okay right now. And that's not weakness. That's honesty. You don't have to have your entire life figured out to be moving in the right direction. You just have to take one step, one honest step, one conversation, one healthy habit, one boundary, one decision that honors the person you're becoming, not anybody else. Because here's something I want you to remember. You are allowed to evolve. The version of you that got through your hardest season doesn't have to be the version that carries you into your next one. People grow. Dreams change. Priorities shift. That's not failure. It's life. Sometimes we hold on to old versions of ourselves because they're familiar, yes. And even though they no longer fit, it's like trying to wear clothes you outgrew years ago. Eventually, they become uncomfortable. Not because there's something wrong with you, but because you've grown. Maybe that's where you are today. Maybe you've outgrown old habits, old relationships, old ways of thinking, and old fears. And while that can feel uncomfortable in itself, it can also be incredibly freeing. Because every time you let go of what no longer serves you, you make room for something healthier. Just imagine two versions of yourself. One keeps waiting until they feel like themselves again, quote unquote. They keep hoping for clarity, as if it'll magically appear. And the other one begins rebuilding, one small decision at a time. They choose honesty over pretending, peace over perfection, growth over comfort. Yes, they don't have all the answers, but they keep walking anyway. Which version do you want to be? Because clarity rarely comes before movement. And most of the time, clarity comes because of movement. You discover yourself by living, by trying, by failing, by learning, and at the end of it, by getting back up. You don't have to know every step. You just have to take the next one. And maybe that's the message someone needed to hear today. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're not too late to become the person you've been searching for. That person isn't somewhere far away. They're already inside you. Covered by fear, covered by doubt, covered by expectations, and covered by pain. But that doesn't change the fact that they're still there. And every healthy choice you make, every boundary you set, every act of self-respect, and every single moment of honesty, you peel another layer away. Until one day you look in the mirror again, and maybe this time you don't see perfection, but you see authenticity. You see resilience. You see someone who fought to find themselves instead of giving up. So if you're feeling mentally lost today, remember this. Being lost doesn't mean you failed. It simply means you're being invited to rediscover who you really are. And take your time. Be patient with yourself. Give yourself grace. Because the journey back to yourself is not a race. It's one of the most important journeys you'll ever take. And when you finally find yourself again, you'll realize you weren't becoming someone new all along. You were simply coming home to the person you were always meant to be. Until next time.